first temptation in the history of the world was the temptation to focus on lack and disregard abundance. I did not put it in the Bible. It was in there when I woke up this morning. That was the very first temptation in the history of the world. Focus on lack. Do you understand? The tree of knowledge of good and evil was in the middle of the garden. God does not waste words. Humans do that. The fact that it was in the middle of the garden is significant to the story. Why? What does it tell us? That Adam and Eve had to walk past all of their abundance to get to the thing they lacked.
This is literally the reason for the prosperity gospel. Literally the reason. I don't know who dude is that said that, whose clip it was. So I'm not saying dude is, a solid teacher, but he hit an interesting point when I saw it on clips. That's literally the reason for the prosperity gospel. Everybody wants more. And that's why a lot of these pastors, they're able to get off with your season's coming and things of that nature, making promises they don't know. But it sounds good. When you know everybody wants something, it's easy to sell that dream to them. Everybody focuses on that so much. And it's a great point about we focus on lack. We focus on what we don't have, what we could have, how things would be better if we achieve that. And end up basing our life and our movements that how we operate solely on getting more.
No, I don't want any pecans. I don't want any pears. I don't want any apples. I don't want any oranges. I don't want any tangerines. If I can just get to the thing that's missing.
This is something I noticed. I could be wrong. Chances are I probably am. But so growing up, I wasn't always in affluent neighborhoods or people who weren't struggling check to check and things of that nature. And I'll be honest, on a consistent basis, I'll say the people who struggle with poverty in the poverty neighborhoods and stuff like that, a lot of them are happier, genuinely happier, and enjoying life a lot more than people who are living in the season they're asking for. I'm talking about people literally no car, catching the bus everywhere, part-time jobs, just really slaving, working check to check. Get off work, barbecue in the front yard. That's what they do in certain areas. Laughing, having a great time. No care in the world. Just there hanging out with their friends, playing dominoes on a consistent basis. Involved in their friends' kids' life. Just living life, enjoying it. Don't be wrong, I know people with money, they're happy, traveling, doing this, but a lot of times there's a lot more stress in their life. There's a lot more pressures and things of that nature. To where if I had to take out the comfort of having money, the comfort of having, like that security, which is a great thing. I'm not saying it's not. But the utter small joy that I've noticed in those people, it's something to cherish. It's something to cherish, something they could be thankful for, rather than just focusing on the lack. Always focusing on, man, I wish I had that. Wish I had that Lamborghini. I wish I had that new truck. Ooh, I had a 5-bedroom house over there. Not knowing the struggles of that person over there. God doesn't show partiality. So a lot of people ask, man, how is that vile of a person so rich and so successful, this and this? And that can cause doubt about faith. Is God real? Things of that nature. Or I'll keep it real on the topic of my season. Am I not doing what God wants or God's will to where I'm not able to achieve that? That's a sad place to be. Rather than realizing God might have you there because he needs you there. I should say need. He wants you there. Because the good works laid before you operate you being there in that climate. A lot of times, on a real note, especially in certain communities, we talk about how when people get money, they leave that community, don't come back. And there's a lot of resentment about that. Some people say, yeah, they should. It's a bad neighborhood. Okay, I understand that too. But in general, there is some resentment to that. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, "Oh, my season, what?" Just so you can leave the people God called you to be around. So you don't got to focus on your neighbor that's right here next to you. And on a real note, like, I'm kind of successful, I'll say, not as successful as I could be. I could have more. You know what I'm saying? Can't wait for that season. But I do miss those days. I'll be honest with you. Of family and friends just stopping by. They got nothing to do. They got no serious job. But we need to focus a lot on be thankful for the small things. Be thankful for the small things. Be thankful for just sitting back, hanging out with your friend, watching TV. Like, there's certain things like that that are utterly priceless that we take for granted. Situations God placed you in. I've lost out on what's it called? Promotions at work sometimes, right? And of course, I'm bummed about it. I'm this and that. But in certain instances, I found out later on that key opportunities came up. For instance, I had a boss that was a non-believer, right? After I missed my promotion, months go by, she sees me reading this book. No. Actually, I saw a book in her office. I was like, "Oh, what's that?" It was a book about the King James and how it was, what was used to create it and this and that in the manuscripts and this and that nature. I was like, "Oh, you're into religion?" So I'm looking into it a little bit. And I was able to talk to her right then about God, the faith, Christianity as a whole, history. A lot of people think the history is only the Catholic Church, and they use all their misconceptions or bad things in history that happened with the Catholic Church as their basis for not believing. And she would call me in her office and we would talk religion like my last 2 hours, hour and a half at work sometimes. Yes, I missed my promotion. I guess it wasn't my season for that. But I found out that God actually put me in a situation to where I was able to do that and talk to them and be a part of that. I also missed a promotion, and I was able to admit one of my friends I have to this day. He works at a different company. To this day, a good friend of mine, like someone who I can call and confide in. And when I was going through a tough time, I would go to his house and sit in his backyard and just talk to him as we watch basketball. Shout out Ralph, straight up. Don't always be focused on that next season when God has you where you're at. And there's room there for you to grow and be a blessing. And the truth is when it comes to prosperity gospel teachers and preachers, is maybe your season is right now in your down and out phase. Maybe that's where God placed you for a particular reason. Maybe you weren't meant to have that promotion. I mean, I'm just keeping it real. If everybody was rich, who would be there to share the gospel, or who would be there just to be a loving person to their neighbor that doesn't have the money? A great saying that you find in my tradition is God doesn't need your good works, your neighbor does. Your neighbor does. So when we focus on always ourself, and some people call it navel gazing, you're just looking at yourself the whole time, you miss out on those opportunities. And if life truly was just about, man, let me go get as much as I can for myself, make myself this and that, we'll be missing out on so much in life. So much in life.